I'm William Kumwembe with Business Time on Times Television, courtesy of Skyband. It is a magazine program in which we bring you major business and economic news stories making headlines. And in the program today, industry laments poor environment and African Development Bank worried over delayed implementation of the investment promotion program. We have these and other stories. Stay tuned if you could.
Now you can access the Daily Times, Malawi News, and the Sunday Times newspapers anytime, anywhere, by the click of a mouse or a swipe on your smartphone. With eTimes, right on your mobile gadget. Flip through the pages with a swipe or a click. Navigate through all pages and see clear pictures and designs. Access a database of previous papers of the Daily Times, Malawi News, and the Sunday Times. Easy. Subscribe now to eTimes. Go to www.times.mw/e-edition. Sign up and log in. Enter your password and enjoy the newspaper. It's about time.
Hello and welcome. And in our main story today, the Malawi Confederation of Chambers of Commerce and Industry, MCCCI, says the industry is still haunted by high cost of doing business and energy wars as serious obstacles to doing business. MCCCI President Priska Bonamgaga made the remarks in Blantyre in his inaugural report to the 2019 Annual General Meeting. He explains in this interview.
In the past year. Okay, thank you so much. I think one of the greatest success story is where MCCCI, as a representative board of the private sector, we do advocate for favorable policy environment for our members. And you might recall that last year, the government through MERA wanted ESCOM to increase the tariffs. They wanted to do what they call tariff adjustment for the four-year period, 2018 to 2022. And they wanted to put it at 60% tariff adjustment, starting the first year with a 50% increment, 53% increment on the tariff of energy. So as a chamber, we engaged government through MERA to say no, perhaps that would be too much on our members, where we lobbied government to move from, ESCOM not to adjust the tariffs. So we lobbied that they shouldn't be at 60%, and they should be at 30. We saw the adjustment from 60 to 31.8. And the first year, instead of putting a 53% adjustment in tariffs, they had put it at 20%. So this is a success for us, an achievement, because we have engaged government to consider that, and government favorably, I think, understood our concern. So for our members, we think it's an achievement because we have saved them millions of kwachas which could have gone into paying for electricity bills hugely. So we thought that's one. Number two, as a chamber, last year we started, we normally, as a chamber, we normally link our business community to other business players, internally, domestically, and internationally. So we have managed to successfully, we have done that. We managed to hold the International Trade Fair, which His Excellency the State President came to officially preside over the opening, as well as the agricultural fairs and other fairs that we have done. This is a success because this is actually the chamber is moving to what it does. And also importantly, we normally build capacity of our members through trainings to ensure that we enhance their competitiveness. Lastly, but not least, we also adopted last year, 2017, we adopted a new strategic plan where one of the issues that we are focusing on is to make sure that we focus on the enhancing capacity of the micro and small enterprises. Previously, we didn't have a category of membership for that. Last year, we have created what we are calling STAR category, which makes sure that we take on board the micro and small scale enterprises and cooperatives. So we think this is an achievement in tandem with our strategic plan.
One of the country's commercial banks, Ecobank Malawi, has expressed optimism for a sustainable growth of its business, banking on a positive economic outlook, among other factors. Ecobank Malawi Managing Director Charles Asiedu said this on Friday in Blantyre when he presented the bank's 2018 results. We have the detail in this report.
In the year ending December 31, 2018, Ecobank recorded a 30% post-tax profit growth to 5 billion kwacha. A statement of financial results for the period shows that profit before tax for the bank went up by 31% to 7.2 billion kwacha. The bank's total assets grew by 52% to 261 billion kwacha due to a 41% increase in customer deposits, which grew to 126 billion kwacha. This is also attributed to over 180% increase in medium-term borrowed funds to 47 billion kwacha. The Pan-African Bank saw its loan book growing by 15% to 38 billion kwacha during the year under review. Asiedu said the bank is systematically repositioned to sustain the trajectory and grow further its profits.
Our results were up, the profit was up by 31% compared to prior period because we had strong growth on the revenue side. We also controlled operating costs reasonably well. We also managed to tame down provisions on loan impairment, and we believe what had led to all those ones was our significant presence in areas in the economy of Malawi that mattered most in 2018. We were very strong in the agricultural sector. We supported farm input subsidy program. We supported the energy sector in terms of importation of fuel. We supported export sector. We were very strong in supporting central bank in stabilizing the economy and several other areas that matter most. We also partnered with OPIC and global communities to launch an SME product that will help grow the SME business in Malawi. And you know, when you do what matters most, you strongly will have your customers being very loyal to you. Customer deposits were up by 41%, which was very strong. We also leveraged our relationship with our sister affiliates across Africa to be able to handle bigger transactions in Malawi, which did really support our growth. We believe that customers bought into the products that we introduced on the market.
He said while credit to the private sector has been on a downward spiral in the first quarter of 2019, the bank remained afloat while systematically managing risk, a situation that gave confidence for continued growth.
Ecobank on its own actually has increased loans to the private sector in the first quarter of 2019. On the banking sector today, liquidity is very high. The interest rates going down, and the intentional policy direction of central bank to push liquidity into the banks so that they can offload to the private sector is actually gaining strong momentum. And banks are excited about it. But it takes time to build the loan book because customers now have to know that interest rates have come down. We believe we can borrow at a lower cost and improve on our productivity, increase volumes and the like. It takes time for them to build and make such requests.
Asiedu also expressed optimism that the economy would register positive growth this year. He premised the outlook on prospects for a positive agricultural output this year, coupled with stability in some key economic fundamentals.
Remember, this is Business Time right here on Times Television with me, William Kumwembe. It is a magazine program in which we bring you major business and economic news stories making headlines in the country, courtesy of Skyband. We'll be right back.
Now you can access the Daily Times, Malawi News, and the Sunday Times newspapers anytime, anywhere, by the click of a mouse or a swipe on your smartphone. With eTimes, right on your mobile gadget. Flip through the pages with a swipe or a click. Navigate through all pages and see clear pictures and designs. Access a database of previous papers of the Daily Times, Malawi News, and the Sunday Times. Easy. Subscribe now to eTimes. Go to www.etimes.co.za www.times.mw/e-edition. Sign up and log in. Enter your password and enjoy the newspaper. It's about time.
Welcome back. The African Development Bank has expressed worry over delays in identifying a consultant for the promotion, investment and competitiveness in the tourism sector project. The regional lender says this would affect implementation of follow-up activities in the project. Chimwemwe Mangazi with the whole story from Lilongwe.
During the handover ceremony of motor vehicles and motorbikes to be used in the project, AFDB officer in charge for Malawi, Jerusalem Fasika, said the bank is not happy that after a year since implementing the program, a consultant has not been identified.
This is the first project for the ministry. We experience, in some cases you can experience implementation startup. We've been supporting like Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Transport for the last so many years, and they're very experienced with our rules and procedures. But for this ministry, it's the first time that we're doing project, so it has that startup delay. We're working with the ministry to familiarize them with the bank's procurement rules, disbursement law, as well as implementation, procedures. So we very much hope that the implementation will pick up. Actually, it has picked up, as you can see, the vehicles that have been procured, which will support the tourism sector in the country by particularly focusing on, the conservation of animals and so on. So we will continue to work with them, and we're very sure and we're happy to also get the commitment of the minister in speeding up the implementation of the project for the remaining.
Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Tourism, Kendala, was quick to respond that he recently has signed to confirm a consultant for the project. Industry, Trade and Tourism Minister Francis Kasaira said they took long to confirm the consultant as they were following necessary legal procedures to avoid problems in future.
Well, procurement processes are quite tricky. Sometimes when you rush them through, you find yourself on the other side of the law. And we want to make sure that when we procure a consultant for a project like this one, we've done all the other stages properly, and we're within the law, and we are recruiting somebody that we really need. It is not just about getting somebody and then later on you realize that probably is not the person or the qualifications that you required. Because at that point in time, it becomes extremely difficult to change course. So we took time to start a project of this nature. There are a lot of other issues that come into play, and for sure we'll be speeding up the other processes, but we want to make sure that we follow what is required by the law and also what was agreed in the financing agreement.
The PICS project, which is being implemented using a $10 million grant from the AFDB, aims at creating an enabling environment for investment in the tourism sector through enhanced capacity in planning and business management and improved governance in management of natural resources. From Lilongwe, I am Chimwemwe Mangazi.
Now, in other business news, National Bank of Malawi has donated 20 million kwacha worth of assorted items to flood victims. The donated items include maize flour, blankets, notebooks, and buckets. Minister of Homeland Security and in charge of Disaster Relief Affairs received the items on behalf of the government. Sharon Chira with the whole story.
National Bank General Manager Harold Gia said the bank saw the need to help following President Peter Mutharika's declaration of state of disaster.
We learned of the loss of life, loss of property and livelihoods. We believe as a corporate citizen, we should be with our countrymen during this difficult time. So we decided to donate so that we can alleviate the suffering of our colleagues whilst they are living in designated areas before they go back to their homes. So we decided to donate in order to show a spirit of humanness as a bank. These are economic actors, these are our customers, and we need to be with them during this time of suffering.
Receiving the donation on behalf of government, Minister of Homeland Security Nicholas Dausi expressed gratitude.
This will go a long way in alleviating suffering of the people that are in camps. We have over 868,000 people in various camps in the country, from Nsanje to Palombe, Mulanje, Cholo, Dedza. So we will make sure that this donation go to the right beneficiaries, and we will target this donation from National Bank to District of Mangoji, Dedza, and Neno. We want to ask other banks and other individuals, people of goodwill, to help us. We want the people that are in camps to go back to their villages, to start life over again. And the assistance of the National Bank, whose items include tarpaulins, food, blankets, will help in resettlement and reconstruction, because the people in camps now have to be thinking of going back home or settling in uplands or areas that are not prone to floods. And it also helps them to construct houses that are resilient to the natural shock.
The minister also said the government is working towards only having the people in the camp for a maximum of 3 months.
Home will never be home if there is no house. It's incumbent upon you and me to impress upon them to build houses. So you can never be a home when there is nothing. Homes are made by people, and the people must be innovative enough to create homes. So it is your duty, you and me, to encourage and impress upon the people to make sure that they have resettled and reconstructed a home. Well, just like what we have received: food, tarpaulins, tents, blankets, cooking utensils. These are the most needed things at the moment. And we are also encouraging those that are, certain camps have closed though. We want to encourage our people to go back to their various localities or homes.
National Bank members of staff also played a part and donated over 2 million kwacha, which will be donated to flood victims in Chileka later on in the week. Reporting for Times News, I am Sharon Jirwa.
Now, what happens when every business seems occupied? Do you give up? Andrew Makupete didn't. He came up with a canopy installation business, which is his successful business. In today's Budding Entrepreneur segment, Andrew shares his journey towards success.
The market was lacking something, so I decided to do my own car first. And then from my own car, I had a few people asking me about, okay, where did you get this done? And then from then on, I just expanded into my own business. It was a bit challenging at the beginning where I had to source some other things, but then for me, I kind of worked off for maybe about like a year and a half. I sourced some capital from selling scrap metal. And then from then on, I just started saving, and then from one sale to another, then I grew. So basically, to penetrate the market, I had one person that was actually one of my major competitors. So basically, I was just trying to see on how they do the thing and then just try to improve on them, on how they work. So basically, it's just continuous improvement, and still now, I'm still trying to learn. To get the resources, I mean, like, my business is diversified into two. So I do automotive and I do like outdoor units, like carports and the rest. So usually for automotive, it's pretty hard to get resources because I usually have to import and they're quite expensive. So that market is a bit more on the easy side. The most popular one is the carports outside. Those ones are because it's more domestic, so most people are trying to protect the cars. So yeah, I can say that, about maybe, as I said, 400. 400 is the price, and that's the most popular one. Expansion, I started off with one automobile, and now I've got like about 3 or 4 automobiles. I've got an office now. My first 2 years I was working for my dad's office. Now I have my own office. My staff, I used to have maybe independent contractors. Now I've got like 4 employees. So that's part of growth. So as I said, we're still moving forward. Consistency, and just have to make a choice on the stuff that you do and how you invest your time. And basically, it's you have to stick to one thing. If you're gonna do, let's say, the canopies. I mean, like for me, it was a risk, and it was something that I'd never done before. But then with time, it pays off. So yeah, just have to be consistent and just do what you love. End of the day, that's what matters the most. Be happy when you're making your money.
Well, with that story, we've also come to the end of today's edition of the program Business Time, right here on Times Television, a magazine program in which we bring you major business and economic news stories making headlines in the country, courtesy of Skyband. On behalf of the entire production team, my name is William Kumwembe. But always remember, if it doesn't make money, it doesn't make sense. Bye for now.
Now you can access the Daily Times, Malawi News, and the Sunday Times newspapers anytime, anywhere, by the click of a mouse or a swipe on your smartphone. With eTimes, right on your mobile gadget. Flip through the pages with a swipe or a click. Navigate through all pages and see clear pictures and designs. Access a database of previous papers of the Daily Times, Malawi News, and the Sunday Times. Easy. Subscribe now to eTimes. Go to www.times.mw/e-edition. Sign up and log in. Enter your password and enjoy the newspaper.